Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here with some book page, and I've also got some vintage documents and including some sheet music. Again, very overambitious. I mean, look at the amount of stuff I've got here, as if I'm going to use, let's face it, any of this stuff. And then I've also got some printables. So these are printables where I've had a kind of, not a mismatch, but you know, like a misprint on the back. So these ones, obviously, as you can see, my printer was kind of running out of ink, so I had just these weird coloured stuff. So I've kind of printed on, you know, the reverse, but now I can only use them as single-sided because, of course, you know, otherwise I'm going to fold them up and I'm going to have like here. I mean, you know, maybe you wouldn't mind this, but personally, I mean, I don't think those two go. So I'm going to try and just use, obviously, just the one side. So what I thought we could do is just make some literally, you know, book page or, you know, sheet music or vintage document pockets with patterned papers using predominantly misprints, or, you know, maybe you've got some offcuts and things like that you've just got kind of smaller bits. So just using kind of some of those up, but mixing the two things together because, you know, I don't know about you guys, I'm not brilliant at kind of mixing things together. You know, I tend to kind of stick to one or the other. So I'm either using the printables or I'm using the book page. And I thought, well, to be honest, I think we could just, you know, mix these up and make book page pockets, for example, with patterned papers, if you see what I mean. So I'm just going to be really basic, and I'm just going to make the kind of Patricia Varimontes, as I always kind of describe Patricia Varimontes, you know, her very basic sort of, you know, what I would call her standard book page pockets, you know, because they're going to be nice and, I guess, you know, versatile for these types of things. So I may want to trim these down because obviously when we kind of would make them, we'd normally have them a bit smaller, i.e. like this. So I might want to kind of just trim them down slightly. So just going to kind of take them like this and just trim them. Not going to worry too much, you know, how they look, but just, you know, just trim them slightly. So maybe we'll have a few different size ones. So, you know, some slightly bigger than others. But just trim them down slightly like that. Okay, let's have a bit of a taller one perhaps here, like that. Okay, and then I've also got sheet music. I have also got some vintage documents. I'm not sure whether we're going to get around to doing that. I mean, like I said, I'm not even sure we're going to get around to doing a lot of these anyway. But let's bring in some sheet music. And we'll do kind of the same concept with the sheet music. Now, I'm folding this over, and these I'm going to glue together because I like a much thicker pocket. Oops. So for these, I'm just going to fold them over like that, and then I'm just going to cut them in half, you know, approximately. So that they're going to be, you know, pockets down here, if that makes sense. So like those, and then I'm just going to pull in just a piece of vintage document, just so that we've got at least one of these as I've brought this along. This is one of those indentures, which I know I've talked about these before. So just going to pull this in. Okay. Now, this is quite thinnish paper, so I'm not sure whether I should fold this over. I'm going to kind of possibly see what's underneath, so I'm just going to kind of tear this down across the top like that. Okay. Now, do we want to just fold this over like this, which, you know, I can't help but feel like that's a bit of a waste of this lovely paper. So perhaps what I'll do is kind of fold it over like that. Okay, I'm just going to cut it down here on this edge. I'm just being stingy really, so that I've got, you know, got plenty of this paper left. And then I want to back it on something. Now, because this is quite see-through, I'm kind of thinking maybe I shouldn't back it onto book page, but something a little bit more see-through, so plain. So this is book page, but if I use the top half, if you see what I mean, it's plain book page here. So I could glue that down like that. And again, all I'm trying to do is kind of reinforce it and make it a bit thicker and more durable, just because otherwise it's, you know, it's possibly going to be a bit thin. So let's go in with my glue. Oops, I've just got a little bit here which I hadn't noticed. So I might just keep that there. So just glue that one down. Right, so we're just going to go around, oops, around this. Oh my goodness. What awful gluing I'm doing. Right, so yeah, we're just going to kind of glue this down like that. I mean, I don't know really whether everyone else would always use, you know, or reinforce. I feel like I do sometimes see other people use things, you know, in their normal thickness. Personally, you know, I would not feel comfortable using things. Sorry, I'm just grabbing a tissue. Okay, I would not feel comfortable using things, you know, in their thinnest form, because I think I would, you know, I would definitely tear it. And yeah, that's just kind of 100%. I would definitely tear it. So for me, it's kind of like just an essential thing is to, you know, reinforce it somehow. You know, especially these vintage pages, because, you know, they're pretty thin, to be honest. They, you know, they're quite flimsy. I don't know whether everybody does kind of double them over. I assume that they do. I don't know. But anyway, definitely for me, it's a kind of like, you know, no other choice. I have got no choice but to double it over, because yeah, I would definitely 100% tear it. So there we go. And I just wouldn't feel comfortable, to be honest, even if I was careful enough and didn't tear it. I don't think I would feel comfortable, you know, that it was going to be a long lasting piece if it was just single thickness. You know, that would be expecting a lot of it, wouldn't it, for it to last and be kind of you know, durable for a long period of time. If it was just literally single thickness, you know, that would be asking a lot, let's be honest. So right, okay, and I do apologize if you can hear my printer whirring away. Hopefully it's not really kind of too intrusive, but it is printing. And as I've said that, it now just obviously spat the paper out and got much louder. But yeah, hopefully it's not kind of too, you know, intrusive. So there we go. Just do the last two. Oh, I feel like I don't know whether I picked up 3 there. We'll soon see, won't we? But okay. And some of these are obviously more vintage than others, you know, older than others. They're all kind of slightly, you know, they are all slightly vintage. But this book page, I mean, I couldn't tell you, to be honest, I can't remember. But, you know, this might just be like 70s or something like that. So, whereas the sheet music is significantly older. And that indenture was, you know, obviously significantly older as well. But again, you know, that doesn't kind of matter. Oh, yeah, I had picked it up kind of, you know, two pieces at a time. So there we go. Right. Just pop that down like that. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Maybe you are doing some crafting, having a nice time. Do share below, you know, what you're working on. I know I say it all the time, but, you know, honestly, it's, you know, very kind of inspiring and helpful for anyone who's kind of just lacking a bit of creative kind of inspiration to just, you know, hear what other people are working on. It can sometimes kind of just spark ideas. Right, there we go. So let's bring in our pages. Oops, not that one. So these are just from my collections pages, these ones. These are the French collection, and then this one is the postal collection. So yeah, I think all of these will work quite nicely. So let's take one of the pinky colour ones, and then, yeah, maybe one of the kind of brownie ones, just because otherwise, you know, they're going to all look the same, which would be pretty boring. So, yeah, let's kind of mix it up a bit. Okay, right, just need to decide which I'd like. So I'm just going to kind of put them there. I do really quite like this now, or maybe that side. So I'm just going to cut this around. So I'm just going to place it kind of on there and cut from the reverse. And I can obviously just tidy this up in a minute, so I'm not going to kind of stress too much, but just getting it roughly to size like that. So I'll just put that to one side. Okay, we shall do another one. I'm thinking maybe, or maybe just cut this down. So perhaps I will just cut this down here. I'll just go in here and cut that bit down. Okay. Right. Oops, oh my goodness, that's huge, isn't it, compared to the book page? Yeah, I hadn't realised it was quite so huge. Now, let me just check with that indenture which piece I would like with that. So I'm just going to cut this down, because obviously it's overhanging the book page at the moment. So I'll just cut it down a bit here. And I'm just going to cut across the top, because it's just got a bit of book page kind of hanging out at the top. So this one obviously much taller pocket. So I'll just check whether I prefer this here, because I can always cut this down and make it shorter. I do quite like it on here, it's got to be said. So yeah, I might do that. So I'm just going to take it down here like that. Just cut it up the side like that. Now, didn't make a good job of cutting this, so I just want to cut that and hopefully get it slightly straighter. Okay, so that will do. Obviously I will tidy these up in a minute, but I'll probably take these to the sewing machine. So I'm thinking kind of, you know, stitch them and then tidy them up after the sewing. So I've got this gorgeous postage one. So yeah, that's just, I mean, I love him. So let's just kind of go across there. Okay. Yeah, about here. So I'm just going to cut that down. I mean, I'm probably not doing this in a very kind of methodical way at all. You know, I'm just using my scrappy methods, which are not necessarily the best. I do realise that, you know, sometimes you just have to go with what works for you, don't you? And, you know, to other people it might just look ludicrous and like a chaotic method, but you know, if you find it works for you, then that's fair enough, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, all I'm trying to do is basically get it so that I can cut it down to size, so like that. Okay, and like I say, I will be trimming these down a little bit probably in a minute. Now I'm just wondering whether I want to come in on the side a bit, because this perhaps is a bit wide. So like that, just kind of makes it look a bit better, doesn't it? So yeah, we've got that one, and then this book page. I can't even see whether this is the right way up or not. Oh, honestly, my eyesight is just appalling, absolutely appalling. Yeah, do we want to have it like that? So I'm just going to again just trim this down, just because it doesn't look very straight. And I'm not saying it's going to look much straighter now I've cut it down, but hopefully a little bit better. Okay, so like that. Now, just take that there. And I'm just going to cut it down here on the side. Okay. Now what I'll probably do is take these across to the sewing machine and stitch around them. Now what you could do, if you know, if you're like me and you're a bit sort of rubbish with the sewing machine, and I'm not saying that you are, but, you know, I'm just talking about myself here. What I might do, just to kind of hold these in place when I'm sewing, I don't want to sew the pockets on, but what I could do is just run a little line of glue, just literally at the bottom, that then just holds that more or less where I want it to be. Okay, so what I would do is stitch around the whole edge, but that's now held in place. So for me, that's just a kind of like, you know, bit of a cheats way instead of gluing it down. So just cut that down there because it looks a bit sort of square. Okay, just make it a bit more rectangular. My goodness, my cutting is just appalling today. Okay, so maybe like that. So I'm going to do that, I think, with all of them. Now this one, do we think that's a good size? Yeah, probably is okay. So again, just going to put a little tiny bit of glue down the bottom just to hold that approximately, you know, where I want that glued. Okay, and you know, can always then trim down the edge again. Although, to be honest, with my cutting skills today, probably shouldn't really delve into cutting, because yeah, that's where I'm going wrong, isn't it, with the cutting. Okay, right, so like that. Okay, and we'll just take these two. So yeah, I mean, look at that colour. Now, I'm not saying that's not nice, you know, I mean, definitely, obviously, I've run out of, I don't know which colour it was, but something had run out on the printer, but, you know, it wasn't a colour that I was likely to use, so, you know, to actually kind of then use the back to do another print, and then be able to use them as a single side print is just, you know, better, isn't it, rather than throwing that piece of paper away or anything. So okay, so I love this one. It's quite nice because it's a taller one, isn't it? Okay, then we've got this one, and I think, yeah, I'm going to cut this one down slightly more, and I'm going to just cut it this way, so as I slice off this edge of this. So before I kind of glue it together, I'm just going to go in and just cut that down slightly. Okay, oops, like that. Okie dokie, right. So again, just pop some glue down here. Do you know what's happening is I'm actually thinking, oh, it's actually a really nice colour. Why don't I make a printable in that colour? And actually it just matches my ringlet. Totally by accident that was, but it just happens that it does match that. Right, okay, so they're kind of, you know, they're held in place good enough, to be honest. So obviously, you know, they probably do need a little bit of tidying up, but they'll do, they will do. So yeah, we'll just do the 4. I have got another piece of book page here, but we'll just do the 4 because otherwise I'm probably over ambitious anyway, thinking I'm going to get through all these billions of different ones. So I'm just going to take them to the sewing machine and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back from the sewing machine. So I have to say they just look so pretty. Now I did use white thread. I tend to use black thread actually mostly, I've noticed, but yeah, I just had white thread in there, so I just went with that. Now I've made a shocking job of stitching around them. I mean, one of them I've even kind of torn a little bit in the corner, which you'll see in a minute. But I thought, well, let's not worry about it. Let's just go with the flow. See here, I'm just like shocking on my sewing machine, but it's all fine. It's not going to really show up or anything, and it certainly is not going to affect the finished pocket. So what are we going to decorate these with? I'm thinking I've got some bits here left over from my Perfect Pocket kits. These are from sets 7 and 8. And then I've also got this, which is from the London collection, the Victorian London collection of background papers. And I thought we could use some of these you know, little building kind of images, possibly. I'm not, you know, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I'm thinking because, you know, because that would be quite nice. So let's have a look and see. Now, I just have pulled in these ones. Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, I mean, I would never have put that really with that pink, but it does actually look really pretty on there, doesn't it? So I might just kind of go with that. So I'm just going to put that to one side as a, you know, that's kind of what I'm thinking I'm doing with that. Let's just see what other bits I've got. So these are, like I say, from the Perfect Pocket kits. I think the greener ones are from set 8 and the blue ones are from set 7, I think. Could be the other way around, but yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay. I mean, unfortunately, these bits are a little bit too tall to actually sit, you know, on that pocket, which is a bit of a shame because they would have looked really quite pretty, wouldn't they? What I could do is, of course, cut that down and then, you know, make it fit. Yeah, we could do that. Got this one. Oh, that's quite nice on there, isn't it? Oh, that is really nice on there. Okay, so we've sorted out those two, so that's interesting, isn't it? That we've sorted out the two, you know, the two pink ones, and it's the brown ones that we're struggling with. That's probably just because, you know, I'm naturally drawn to the colour, the coloured stuff. Right, let's have a look. I've got this little green label. We could have that. I've got butterfly. No, don't like that. No. Oh. No, don't like that. Right, okay. Let me just pull in these buildings then. So I'm kind of thinking, you know, we could definitely use something from here. So let's just cut this down. Oops. Okay, so maybe this one, I mean, I know we're, you know, we're getting a little bit on the tall side again. Well, that one definitely. Could use that little tiny piece there. Let's just see. I was going to tear them, but maybe I will cut them. Look. Just try these ones. Okay. Let's have a look. I like him showing because I like that as a stamp. I think that's a really nice stamp. Yeah, so perhaps we could have something like that. Oh, I've just got, oh my goodness, you know what that would look really good with? That's going to look really good with this, isn't it? So yeah, right, just suddenly I spotted that. It was kind of like just under my hot glue gun there. And, you know, just sometimes it's just awesome, isn't it? When we have just the right thing laying around on the desk. Right, so this, I'm going to have this off to the side. So I'm just going to cut this down slightly here. Like that, okay. Yeah, so we just ink this up. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous do those colours look. Love those colours together. I don't know really what colour you'd call this. Magenta, maybe? Maybe, I don't know. Not great about colour names. You know, knowing colour names. Let me know. Do you know what colour this is? Probably magenta is probably something completely different, but in my mind, this is what magenta looks like. Okay. Oh, you know what I'm also thinking, and it suddenly occurred to me when I was at the sewing machine. Oh my goodness, how yummy does that look? Love that as a combination. Yeah, it suddenly occurred to me when I was at the sewing machine, and I thought, you know what else we could do? We could play with these in the reverse, i.e. the document as the background and then the book page as the pockets. So I think, yeah, we'll come back and do that because I think that would look really, really lovely. Right, which way around do we want this? Probably hanging out there. So I'm just going to hot glue this down, which is going to kind of squish that lace in place. So take my hot glue. That's it. And just then pop that down there. Like that. Oh, those colours. Those colours together. They are just so scrumptious. I feel like, have I not really ever put these colour combinations together before? I don't know. I mean, I possibly have, but I can't really think of anything. But my goodness, don't they look absolutely gorgeous together? I love them. Absolutely love them. Just got this label, which again is from the Perfect Pocket kits. But just thinking we could have that on there. Now, do we want to have the butterfly down here? Or up there? The only thing is, I mean, I know it kind of makes sense to have it up there to bring the pink up, but that's, I feel, looking a bit too obvious, like that's what I'm doing. I mean, as it happens, that's not what I was doing. But, you know, kind of like by putting it up there, it just feels a little bit like, oh, are you trying to actually just get some pink up there? So, yeah, for me, it kind of doesn't really work. Even though it should, you know, it kind of should work. It feels a little bit like weird. So, yeah, I'm not going to do that, I think. So we'll have the butterfly down here instead now. Yeah, I'm going to have it off that way. Again, going to put it on with its wings flapping, which I love that. Okay, now I've also got this from my Fun Photos kit, which just says Paris. It is quite pink. This is more magenta, if that's the right colour. So this might look rubbish, but we'll just see. Because, I mean, also we will ink this, in which case, you know, by the time it's inked, it might look different anyway. Well, it will look different, but, you know, it might look different and go, or it might look different and not go at all. But we will just give it a try. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's just ink this up. I think that has made that look a bit more magenta-y, hasn't it? Yeah, quite like that, I think. So, where do we want it, is the question. I think up there. So, yeah. Just going to hot glue this down, just because it's, you know, going over a couple of different layers. So, it's just going to make it nice and quick. Quick and easy to put it down. There we go. And then I'm just going to see, I've got some bling sat here. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely have some bling, 'cause why wouldn't we after all? So just glue that down. Okay. In the centre of that butterfly, and I'm just wondering whether we might have a little bit of bling on the lace as well, because hey, you can just never have enough bling, can you? You know, if you can add a bit more bling, why wouldn't you? Why indeed. Right, oh my goodness, sorry, I've got hot glue threads all over me, so I was just like picking them off. Well, not picking them off, but you know, trying to get them to drop into the bin. Let's just have that bit of bling down there. Oh my goodness, what a scrumptious pocket. I absolutely love that. So, pocket number one, right. Let's do a brown one. so that, you know, if we run out of time, I have at least done a couple of different coloured ones. So I'm going to ink this up, because I think this was another one of those misprints where it's, you know, it's a bit pale. So yeah, now I'm just going to ink this up a bit and around the edge of the sheet music as well. Okay. Right, now, have got these flowers here. I don't know whether they're a bit much, but I just kind of thought, well, let's give them a try and see. Because this has got slightly a green sort of tinge, I'm thinking, you know, we could maybe kind of tie this in. I mean, that's quite nice, isn't it? You know, not my sort of, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to trim that lace out. It was only because I then was looking for some lace and I thought, oh, I must have had an offcut. I mean, as if that's an offcut. Look at it. Teeny little piece. What was I saying? Can't even remember now. Yeah, no idea now what I was actually going to be saying. Oh, I have got this little bit of paper. Let me just see if we could use this for a bit of kind of layering. Just going to see whether we prefer this up the top. I mean, I don't really want to cover all that sheet music up, but it's a bit cluttery up the top, isn't it? I think. A bit too much stuff going on. So I think it's better down the bottom. Now, if we had the rose there, what do we think? I wonder if I've got any more of those. Let me just have a look. Oh, yep. Oh my goodness, how pretty does that look? I love how that looks. Right, okay. So let's pop this down. So this is just a little scrap of paper that was laying around on my desk. This actually is from the French collection, this brown, but yeah, it was just there. I don't know why. Maybe I've been collaging with it or something, I don't know. But yes, it had been sat on the desk. So again, it's another good thing to get off of the desk, isn't it? And then we're going to have this one here. Oops. Oh, come on. Sorry, just unclog my glue. Okay. Oops. Now, I haven't put any lace on this one. I've kind of not included lace. I'm not even sure as I've included space for lace, because we've got a lot of stuff going on here. So we might be able to put lace on, we might not. But if we can't, we can't. You know, that's all fine. I just love the way it's looking with all the, you know, the bits and pieces. So I love it when things take on, you know, an unexpected look to them. So, yeah. Who'd have thought we were going to be putting these bits on? But they do work, don't they? They look really good. So yeah. Oops. Sorry, it's got glue smears there. Right, the butterfly just going to pop down there. Okay, and this rose just have kind of to the side here. Okay. Oh, how lovely does that look? It's so scrumptious, isn't it? Now I'm just wondering, do we want to have any lace or not? Let me see what lace I've got, because I might not even have any that's going to be suitable. I mean, I probably have somewhere, but you know, I might not have any right beside me. Got this, which is quite wide, but I could cut it down. Oh, that's quite big, isn't it? Quite in your face. I've got this, which is, I think this might be some I've dyed actually. Looks like it is. But it's got a grey kind of browny colour, so just wondered whether that might be, you know, sort of got a bit of a subtle look, which, you know, maybe is what it needs. I don't know. No, I don't think that's quite right. I've got this little piece here. No. Ooh, we might have to go laceless with this, to be honest, because I'm struggling to actually find a piece that's going to look quite right. No. No, I think actually out of them all, strangely enough, the best match was that one that I said that I had dyed, the greyish looking one. This one here, this is a kind of peachy, salmony type colour. Oh my goodness. What's going on? Right. Just wondered whether it would go, because it would be picking up the orangey colour from the roses. Move that out of the way. What do we think to that? I mean, obviously I'd cut it down so there wouldn't be actually very much of it showing. Do you know, I don't think that either. Yeah, I am kind of veering towards no lace or the grey brown. So yeah, let me just double check in my lace drawer. Got some black lace in there, but I don't think black's quite right, to be honest. Right, so it's either this one or none. Oh, should we just put this one on? I don't want to go for none, it just seems too boring, doesn't it? So yeah, let's just put this down. Okay. Not sure which is the right way and which is the wrong way. You can kind of see like the veins, can't you, of the lace, if that makes sense. You know, like where it's been stitched or made, or, you know. And that's how you can tell. But sometimes the light catches it and then you can't really see which way those veins are, and you actually can't really feel it either, which then just makes it very hard to decipher which is the right and which is the wrong way. So we'll just cut that across there. Oops. Just take it down in the corner. Oh, that looks pretty, doesn't it? Right, let me just bring in the bling. What did I do with the bling? Oh, how can I have lost that? It was here just now. Honestly, it's not really great when you're using that black bling on a black craft mat. It just loses. Yeah, loses itself. Gets lost anyway in amongst the black of the craft mat. So yes, it's now completely missing. Let me cut a fresh length of the bling. And who knows, maybe you guys can see it, but I definitely can't see it from here. It's completely gone, completely hidden from view. Right, now do we want that on the butterfly or do we want some on here? Let's have it up there. So yeah, let's just take that. Yeah, going to put that down up there. So just hot glue that down like that. Okay. How gorgeous does that look? Love it. And very, very different to that first one, isn't it? Very different. Okay, right, let's bring in this one. Oh, this one's going to look very different because, you know, we're doing the blue on here. So hopefully we're going to get a really alternative look again. Now, I've got some pink lace here. This just happened to be sat at the side of my desk, but thinking this would be quite lovely. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? Right. Okay, I feel like I don't even need to kind of like spend time questioning or, you know, thinking about this one. It's just like, wow. Love how it's looking. Yeah. So press that down. Okie dokie. Right. My lace here. How gorgeous is that? I mean, that looks very fairy tale-y to me. Don't know why, but yeah, it just looks like it's stepped off of a fairy tale book. Off of the page of a fairy tale book, like something out of Cinderella. That might just be my opinion. Maybe you don't think that at all. But yeah, to me it looks like that. And I just love that girly kind of thing. So yeah, oh my goodness, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, I'm just going to give this a helping hand with the hot glue, just to make sure that's, you know, stuck down properly. Right, now obviously we might want something else because, you know, we've not got a lot going on here. And hey, you know, maybe we'd be better off leaving it. But let's just double check before we, you know, before we decide to leave it, because we might think, you know, it does need some more stuff. So I quite like that there. Now I don't know, kind of if I was to have a label, I don't know what type of label would be good here. Because I feel a bit like it needs something else pink. I mean, that doesn't look too bad. I know, not pink, you know. I wasn't deluding myself thinking it was pink, but yes, what I mean is, oh, that one looks surprisingly okay. We've got this. This is from my Great Expectations papers. So I'm just wondering whether we could even have, like, just a torn piece of that or something, maybe in the corner. What do we think to that? Does that kind of tie in the top and the bottom? I mean, I don't want to cover up all that sheet music is the problem. Let me just tear this down a bit. You know, because I really like how that sheet music looks, and obviously that's kind of like covering it up, isn't it? Which is a shame. Let me just cut this down here. So if we had it here. Oh, sorry. Fingers and thumbs, fingers and thumbs. Right. Maybe like at the top. Yeah, I quite like that. What do we think? Do we like it? I think it looks quite pretty. Now I have got just a brownie coloured butterfly, which I'm wondering whether we could have a brownie butterfly down there. Not saying it needs it, but you know, just as an option there. Oh, or we could have the blue as a complete contrast, which I mean does look quite pretty, doesn't it? Or we could have the green. They all look good. I don't know. I don't know. Again, wishing I was live and I could hear you all, and then you could tell me which one you think. Hey, or maybe you would say you don't think any of them, and I'm just kind of going to gung-ho put one on there, and you're all thinking, you know, oh my goodness, she's smothered this in stuff again. Too much stuff going on. You may well be thinking that. Right, let's put this down. Right, like that. Okay, and then the flower. Yeah, I think kind of up there, probably facing this way, only because that one's facing that way. So I don't want them both kind of looking identical. Okay. like that. Okay, get that glue out. Now, do we or do we not like the butterfly? If we do, which butterfly do we like? The brown, the green, or the blue? Oh, I just don't know. I wish that I could hear you. Oh, whatever it is I do, I'm going to kind of think, oh no, why did I do that? I know that the brown is probably, you know, a lot of you probably really favour the brown because, you know, it's making it look a lot more neutral. You know, I am very drawn to colour, so I'm kind of like swaying towards either the green or the blue. I mean, the blue looks very striking, doesn't it? And it does kind of match in with the blue on the rose up there. Oh, do you know, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So, oh, don't crucify me in the comments. Oh, dear. Honestly, I can't help myself. I see colour and then it's like, oh, shall I, shan't I, shall I, shan't I? And then, oh, I can't resist anymore. I'm just going to put the colour on. Definitely colour. It's kind of like a weakness of mine, I think, in the in the field of junk journaling. You know, I can't quite resist. Okay, right. Just a bit of hot glue there. Just trying to pick it out. Oh gosh. Right, there we go. Let me just see whether we want to have any bling across on the pocket as well. Oh, that does look pretty, doesn't it? Yeah. So I think this side, do we want that much or do we want a bit smaller? I think probably a bit smaller. So yeah. Okay, right. Just going to glue this down slightly because it's kind of like, not lumpy exactly, but you know, got slightly bit of a bump. Okay. Like that. Oh my goodness, what do we think? Oh, I love that. It's so pretty. Right, last one. Okay, must be quicker here because, yeah, I've dragged this out a lot, haven't I? So, sorry about this. Right, I've got this man. No, he's from the Vintage Victorian, I think. And then the blue one is from the Perfect Pockets kit 8, set 8. Set 7, I think. Right. These are, like I say, too big. So, yeah, not going to be able to use those. What were the other ones that I pulled off from these? Here we go. Because I did talk about using these, didn't I? So, yeah. Let's just have a look. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. So what if I had that and we mixed it with some of the pinks? Just trying to kind of mix it up and have like something very different looking to what we had obviously on the other one where we used this building. You know, just because otherwise it's not obviously very interesting for you to be watching if it looks the same. So just, yeah, trying to kind of get something different going on really. Could have, or, you know, we don't even have to have kind of a focal point as such. What we could do is have more like a label here. So for instance, this, like a journaling label. Let me just take a bit of lace. So I've got this black lace. Now, I am not saying that this is going to look good, but it's worth a try, isn't it? Oh, there comes the dog. She's been asleep on my daughter's bed. So yeah, she's just obviously making her presence known. Right, I'd have to cut that down a lot smaller. But we could have something like that, either with the pink flower or the blue. What do we think? Oh, what about with this? I really like it, this on that, if you see what I mean. It looks really nice, doesn't it? So, yeah, let's put this on there. Like that, okay. Right, just, oh my goodness. Glue seeping everywhere around there, so let me mop it up. Mop it up with the tissue. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Not a good look. Okay, like that. Right, let's just take the black lace here, cut this down. Like that, okay. Sorry, my ability to maneuver that just seemed very difficult. Right, then I'm thinking have this kind of curly bit that I cut off, maybe somewhere on the top. Let me just cut this down. Oh. That was the piece, wasn't it, that I was thinking I was going to have on here. So now I'm like, oh, well, that's what we should do. Let's have that like that. Just trying to cover up this where I've made this mess of this corner, to be honest. So, yeah, it's not really working very well, but... I mean, what do we think? Is that just really random, having that blue flower stuck on there? I wish I had another one of those blue flowers because that would tie them in. Unfortunately, that's my only one here. And, yeah, I just feel like that on its own is a bit strange. If I had two, I feel like it would be fine. Let me just check, because I've got some flowers here from my vintage desk. I've got that one from, this is just from the Horror Halloween. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, I've got these blue roses, nope. Got a red rose, no. These pink ones. I always love these pink ones, to be honest. They're one of my favourites. These are just from the vintage desk. Sorry, I can't remember whether I repeated that, but or whether I've already said that. But yeah, these are one of my favourites. I just think they always look really pretty. You know, kind of pretty much wherever they go, they look good, don't they? Let's just see. Then we could have maybe... Oh, I need to cover that up, don't I? Yeah, must not forget. Must not forget that awful mishap that I made over there. Let's have a look, see if we had black lace coming out. Oh, this isn't working for me, this pocket, for some reason. Don't know why. What if we had it more like that? It might not be working because I've not inked it up. Let me just ink it up a bit, because that would kind of make it look a bit better, I think. Okay. Right. We have this here. Right, and I was kind of thinking this over here, that and that. And then would we have another rose somewhere? Oops, let's just say there. Maybe, oops, maybe like that, or maybe even a red one. I mean, it's a very different look, isn't it, to be honest? So, yeah, I don't mind it. Let me just put these away a bit. Hold on, I'm just put that blue one there because I thought, well, actually, perhaps we could mix the blue in. So I'm just going to leave the lace here. Going to glue this down, and that's going to in turn glue that lace down. Okay, like that. Okie dokie. And then, yeah, we'll just put this flower here. That's covering up, obviously, that, you know, mishap that I had where I tore through the paper. So that's, you know, that's that achieved, which is good, because, yeah, that was looking a bit rubbish. Oops, not made a very good job of cutting that rose. It's got a sort of big white bit on there. Right. Okay, weird, isn't it? How sometimes, you know, you don't notice things until you come to use them, and then it's like, oh, how did I not notice that? Right, so then I'm thinking this. So this one I've cut with my scan and cut, and you can see it's just got a sort of notch missing from it. So, yeah, by doing this, it's kind of like pressing it down and covering that up. So we're just going to put that there. Right, again, just kind of holding that in place with this hot glue. So the whole thing just presses down like that. Okay. Like that. And then let's just see about the blue. What do we think to that blue? Is that just like really weird, or does it actually kind of like tone and bring it, you know, to another kind of pretty kind of level? Sorry, just getting that hot glue off of everything. I mean, it does look pretty, doesn't it? I do feel like then I could do with something blue, but this just feels like really boring to put that red one there. You know, I feel really like disappointed in myself for putting something so boring on. So, you know, maybe, whoops, maybe by having the blue rose, it's just, you know, bringing it to life a bit. You know, there's no rules, are there, in junk journaling? And, you know, sometimes actually going with the slightly different pieces can be what, you know, what's needed, isn't it? Just wondered whether I wanted to have that butterfly anywhere. I mean, that's quite nice, isn't it? I know it's looking quite cluttered. It's got a lot of stuff going on this pocket, but I quite like it actually. So yeah, let's just go for this. Let's be brave. You know, we don't always have to be safe, do we? I mean, so long as you kind of overall like the look of it, you know, that's kind of good enough, isn't it, really? And, you know, I do think it looks pretty, to be honest, even if it's quite now cluttered. So, yeah, do we like the brown butterfly over there or down here? I think on the book page. So, yeah. Like that. And then do we want some bling? I know we've really got barely anywhere to put bling because we've covered it so much, but weirdly, I quite liked that in the middle. So maybe, oops, maybe just have it there. I don't very often do things in the middle. And weirdly, I must do them more than I think, because saying that, I feel like I can hear myself saying that quite often. So although I'm saying, oh, I don't very often put things in the middle, I obviously do it more than I think because I can hear myself saying it quite frequently. So yeah, I obviously do it more than I think. But yeah, putting things in the middle, I mean, that used to be kind of more card making type style, but sometimes I think it's quite nice on our junk journal stuff as well. So let me know below, what do you think to this one? I've mucked about with it and finally finished it. So yeah, let me know what you think to it. So let's just have a quick review of the 4 that we did, which actually I think we did okay doing the 4 because it was looking dodgy at one point. I didn't think we were going to get the 4 done. Let me know below which one is your favourite now. You know, do you like this one which came together in 2 seconds flat and it's, you know, very simplistic, I suppose? You know, do you like these where we've mixed it up? Do you like this one, my Cinderella-y type one? yeah, let me know below, and then perhaps we'll come back, like I say, and do some of the reverse, so where we have kind of the background pages as the back of the pockets, and then the, you know, the vintage documents and things as the fronts of the pockets. But yeah, let me know below which is your favourite, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks then, bye.